Добрый вечер. Меня зовут Коченко Анастасия. Я организатор открытого университета со стороны новой сцены Александринского театра. Рада вас всех видеть. Сейчас нам, собственно, Ассе Сауга расскажет о том, стоит ли покупать биткоины. Но перед этим я хотела бы представить Сарена Либориуса, главу отдела прессы и информации представительства Европейского Союза в Российской Федерации. Вам слово.
Анастасия, спасибо. Я очень рад, что мы продолжим наши интересные дискуссии, когда мы только что обсуждали, что такое smart contract, что такое биткоин. Я сказал, что иногда эти дискуссии, они, может быть, чуть-чуть, как по-английски, fluffy thinking, но они становятся реальными. И это действительно так. И то, что я хочу сказать о нашем сотрудничестве с открытым университетом, это слияние между амбициозными мыслями и конкретными работами. И спасибо вам большое за это очень классно. Для того, чтобы иметь какую-то связь с аудиторией, у нас всегда какой-то игры или, может быть, квест, приз. И мы с спикерами задавали вопрос, и я хочу дать слово оригинатору нашей вопрос. Как вы думали?
Hello, everyone. So, yeah, today's question was probably what was the first, when happened the first transaction in a Bitcoin network, and when during that transactions when came into the system first amount of Bitcoins. And answer is it happened 2009, 3rd January, around 6 o'clock. The clock time isn't so important, but day is important. So all who answered this is a great answer. Yeah.
Спасибо вам большое за этот вопрос. И конечно, в 2009 году это, я знаю, в поколении интернет, поколение, это почти в прошлом. Это давным-давно. Но успешно ответила на этот вопрос Мария Брусничка. Мария, есть у нас? Мария, пожалуйста. У нас, конечно, нет биткоина, потому что... Да. У нас то, что нам как дорогой, как биткоин у других. И, Мария, я хочу дать вам вот этот приз. И если откроете, вы найдете не контракт биткоина, но я могу помочь.
Доверяй, но проверяй, правильно.
Да. Это... Хотя это государственные флаги, они все еще действуют, да? И, может быть...
Все-таки ищет биткоины.
Может быть, там есть биткоин. Окей. Хорошо, вот. И как мы только что обсуждали, что... Хорошо, спасибо вам большое. Это было классно, что вы участвовали в этом, да. И это очень хитрое устройство. Это работает магнитическим силам, да. Очень современный. Даже работает без струи, без ничего, да. Это биткоин сейф. Да. Хорошо. Спасибо. И спасибо вам за участие в эти интересные лекции. И я жду, конечно, и интересные лекции и диалога. Спасибо вам большое.
Thank you for the intro, and it's really nice to be here. First, what I'm going to talk about, I will talk a little bit technologies, what are inside the Bitcoin, how it works, why it still works. The other altcoins, a little overview about them, other applications, and then try to answer the main question. A little bit about myself. 15 years in IT is my background. Last 3 years of it has been in the Bitcoin and the blockchain field. I have studied IT, graduated this same university, Nicosia University in Cyprus, same online course what Alex mentioned in the last lecture. It was really great course. And then just to balance my both sides of the brains, to stimulate the right one more, I graduated a year ago, 3-year course in a private university as a psychology and a therapist. But still I'm more focused on the technology side. I am former blockchain expert in LHV Bank. And now since this year I founded my own startup called Proof of You. Got inspired from Alex scientific work, and our focus is we are creating globally acceptable digital signature together with smart contract applications. As well, I'm Estonian Bitcoin leader and a trainer, and one of the co-founders of Estonian Cryptocurrency Association. Who knows what this is?
Light bulb.
Yeah, you have right. It's actually world's oldest working light bulb, placed in fire department in California. It works already 115 years since 1901, still working very well. It was invented by Thomas Edison, and it's quite important invention. Bitcoin is even more important, even compared with electricity or internet. As we know, Bitcoin more as a cryptocurrency, as a money, and the money as a form of money has been going through the different changes during the time. So first form of money, as we know, is money as commodity. We can still use it in some situations in lonely villages, middle of the mountains, or communities in the desert with the camels. But it's not very comfortable to use sheep or camels and trade with them. So 6-7 centuries before Christ, Greeks came up with the metal coins. Much more easier to carry, trade with them, and then 15 centuries later, 16th century. 6th century after Christ, Chinese invented paper money, and again much easier to carry, exchange, buy things with them. Next change in money industry began early 90s, when the money form of money moved into the computer systems and transformed to the zeros and ones. Actually today we have like 99% of moving money around is presented electronical way, only zeros and ones. But there is one quite big problem with that. We can easily change those numbers. They are just numbers in computer systems and money networks. And the money emitting policy goes that just some small groups decide that let's print new money, so they will add some zeros behind the number, and that's it. From there comes the corruption, the misuse of the system, and it's really bad for the trust and for the system. And now we are middle of something new, which is next change of the form of money, and can call it as to the cryptographical money. It means that basically those same numbers what are presented in the systems are not any more easily to change and to copy and to add them, because every change of the data set, every change of the numbers needs to be agreed. It's mathematically controlled, and the change of the numbers needs to be agreed by every party who participates inside the particular system. So it's now impossible that just random guy decides add some zeros, and it's impossible in that kind of system. And the first successful example is Bitcoin. How the Bitcoin works? Really simply overview what is under the hood. Basically, Bitcoin is designed really smartly, so that has been taken old, already enough tested technologies, and has put them together really geniusly way that they are like just working together. First idea is idea about decentralized transaction system, which first time happened in the Napster. Who knows about Napster? Then after the Napster closed, then BitTorrent came, thanks to the one MIT student, and we can still successfully use it, share files with it. Then the next innovating part of a Bitcoin is the idea to put all the transactions publicly into the blocks and connect those blocks into the mathematical chain. Next thing is the method how those blocks are, how this blockchain is renewed, or how those blocks added into the chain, new blocks. It's called proof of work. And the simplest example about the proof of work could be, for example, CAPTCHA. If you have noticed maybe that if you are trying to fill some kind of web form, then you have there, before submit, you have there this small picture with the numbers or random word, and you need to type that word or number into the form as well, and then you can submit the form. It's basically to avoid attacks and misuse of the form. And the latest idea is to combine all those parts together so that has been taken maximum effort from decentralized and self-regulated system design. And to secure data inside all this Bitcoin system has been used two main technologies, both already 30 years old. First of them is cryptographical hash functions, what we are using as well every day. Our passwords, hopefully, are holded in hashes in behind web-based applications in the databases. And another thing is public key infrastructure. If we are signing some kind of digital document digitally, then we are using this public key infrastructure system. And if we are encrypting something, same thing. And same both ways are used in a Bitcoin network. If sender basically signs the transaction, and a small part of the transaction is encrypted so that the receiver can decrypt it and use it. So let's look a little bit closer the innovative parts of the Bitcoin. First off, those part is a blockchain. Actually, the idea of the blockchain isn't very new. We have people have used different versions of blockchain since middle of 90s in scientific work and some applications around the world. But they all are centralized blockchains. Bitcoin is the first one where has been used the decentralized method or design of the blockchain. What is the blockchain is basically what is inside the block. All miners, computers who are participating in the network, they have a full copy of the blockchain, and if new block comes, if they need to create a new block, then they will they will take the previous hash, so-called mathematical information about the last block, put it into the new temporary block. Then they will take optimized information about all the transactions, what's happening currently in real time. This is the Merkle tree, what Alex mentioned in his lecture. So the information about all the transactions, what's happening in real time, they are already scanning all the time the network. Then add into it the timestamp so that we know that every block has made it in a particular time. And then nonce number, randomly generated number, basically. And this blockchain is designed so that we can use it not only to transport money but to transport data. So it's in sense of money it's open ledger, in sense of data is distributed database and all mathematically chained. Another really innovative thing is the method how the blockchain has been built and will be built in the future. It's called proof of work or mining. The idea is basically to avoid the central point in the system and to use the decentralized design. And how it goes that the miners who hold the blockchain, full copy of the blockchain, will this is like one task for a miner, and what the task means is that they will take last information about last block from the blockchain, add into it real-time happened transactions, optimized the data about it, then the random number nonce, and all those info, they will put all those info through the cryptographic algorithm in the sense of Bitcoin called SHA-256, and they will get some result. And the third task is now they will compare the result with the expected pattern. The pattern has always same in all the miners, and if the result doesn't fit into the pattern, then they will start this cycle again, and they will do it like trillions of times in a second until they will fit the result to the pattern. In the terms of Bitcoin, the pattern is basically that the result needs to be smaller than some certain number. When miner gets into the pattern, then he broadcasts it through the network, and other miners who are doing same cycles in the same time, but they all might be different results. So if the first miner gets the result and it fits into the pattern, then other miners stop calculating this task and start checking it. And the checking procedure goes instantly. they will check is it the result fit into the pattern, and then if the majority of the miners, 51% of the miners, has agreed that this is a right result, then they announce that this particular miner has correct his answer, and they will agree that this miner has earned the prize. Price is basically to motivate the miners, and it's related to the money issuing policy. So averagely, this price thing is it will happen averagely every 10 minutes. So after every 10 minutes, new bitcoins will come to the network, and those goes to the successfully sold miner pocket. Currently, the winning price is 12.5 bitcoins. And after the block is sold, the miner is wind, then they all started to, the whole cycle started to again from the beginning. They will take the new transactions, what's happening in real time, the old transactions, what will go to together with the block into the blockchain, and the whole thing starts again. So yeah, that's the really simply overview how the new blocks are added into the blockchain, so that there isn't a need for a central party who secures the mechanism, how the transactions and the blocks are put into there. Why is Bitcoin still alive? So let's see a little bit bigger picture. Basically, we are surrounded by different design of the systems. Mostly we know centralized system. All our governance systems are centralized, or government, banking sector, everything is centralized, and the reason why is that the people, designers, we didn't know how to design trusted centralized system, because trusted decentralized system, because in a centralized system, the central party is this party who is responsible of the whole system, and it provides the trust as a service. It controls everything what's happening in the system. It has control of the information, control over the parties, and it basically secures the system so that it is usable and it has enough trust. But as we have seen, this design isn't always very successful, and it has like little bit disadvantages in some situations. But if we see more nature systems like Earth climate, for example, or nature itself, they are really like distributed systems and decentralized systems, and they are self-regulated. Of course, the development of these systems has been much longer during the evolution, but they are much more sustainable and really like working. And the reason why we haven't built a decentralized system before is that problem which is called Byzantine generals problem. The problem has been described already 1973 by 3 scientists, and it happens only in decentralized system model, and has described through this metaphor. So let's assume that we have we have the Byzantine armies, and the center is some city what needs to be conquered by those armies. And now the generals who are leading the armies needs to be cooperate somehow to conquer the city faster and more efficiently. Now, if one general decides that the noontime is the right time to attack, then he will send out a message to communicate with other parties. And now, after he sends out the message, he has two main problems. First, how he knows that the message has been delivered into the right place, into the receiver. It's the first problem. And the second problem is how the general can be sure that the message hasn't been changed meantime. Isn't the other general or isn't the traitor or the messenger, for example. So those are the main problems what's happening in a decentralized way of communication. And scientists thought around the world that this problem is unsolvable until Bitcoin white paper came out in 2008. They looked into it and thought that this might be the solution for that problem. And today, 7 years later, we can successfully see that the Bitcoin is not the ideal solution for that problem, but enough usable solution. And that is the reason why we can use Bitcoin not only as a money, but as a technology, as a blockchain, and we can build many different applications top of it. How alive Bitcoin is? I would say very alive. It has been tried already 106 times. There is actually a website who measures the announcements which says that Bitcoin is again died. It happens quite oftenly, not so often anymore, because it has proved enough. But it has already 7.0 years lifetime. Really many developers have been contributed into the Bitcoin core code. Over 10,000 commits has put into there. Additionally, those hundreds or thousands of developers who are working not inside the Bitcoin community but outside from it and developing other applications top of the Bitcoin network, changes, messaging systems, many other, and with the blockchain technology. We have many lessons behind. Biggest of them probably is Mt. Gox collapse with what happened here. Mt. Gox was biggest exchange in early Bitcoin times and got attacked by many attackers, and around $300 million were stolen. But again, this was attack to the exchange, not to the Bitcoin network. But still, the Bitcoin network has been going through the different attacks. But it's not easy to attack it because there isn't a central point. The attacks are focused only in a central point in the system. Banks are more and more open. I would say that in a world around the world, if some banks identify them as a banks in the future, then they already have been going through the Bitcoin and the blockchain. Really many banks have already their innovation, have created innovation department inside them. They are researching to the Bitcoin through the blockchain. And I don't even know the bank who hasn't researched the Bitcoin. And recently I heard announcement about Central Bank of Russia, who as well announced a little bit more positive news about Bitcoin. Then the governments are more and more open. European Union just half year ago decided that announced that in around Europe is Bitcoin VAT free, so there isn't a VAT tax anymore. And just recently, a couple of weeks ago, came out anti-money laundering related directive, which considers the features of the cryptocurrencies. So they slowly became more trying to more regulate them, but they as well understand that they can regulate only parties who are top of who are like next level of the Bitcoin, because self-regulated system, they can't regulate it. It's if you try to regulate the self-regulated system, decentralized system, then you probably will broke it. And this is the message what's slowly like going to the point there. But I would say the Bitcoin itself is still really in experimental phase, because we have really big challenges ahead. One of them is scalability problem. Thing is that in a Bitcoin network we can there is a limit, transaction limit, which comes from block size. Block size is 1 megabyte per 10 minutes, and it means that per second we can send only 7 transactions, compared with Visa network, where it's happening with trillions transactions per second. It's like another mistake, basically, another scale. But there are many options how to solve this scalability thing. But as well, there are many interest groups who others don't like this option, others like the other option better. So that leads to another challenge, which is decision-making process. First time we need to find somehow solution how we can make decision in a decentralized system, basically decentralized governance process. So in a centralized system design, we have this central point who is responsible, who makes the decisions. But in a decentralized model, we have those other many parties who are all equal, and they have all the same amount of information. So and if there is happening to be different interest groups inside the decentralized system, there needs to be agreed some kind of decision-making process, and that's the like activity what's going on in the Bitcoin network already over a year. They're trying to find the right solution and right way how to make the decisions inside the decentralized network. And then usability. Inside the Bitcoin network and in a community, there are really genius developers, genius people who are contributed into it, but there is always lack of usability experts and designers who will make it the great functionality really usable for end user, because it's still quite like a little bit different. If you are using Bitcoin, it's a little bit different than the traditional money, and it develops all the time really great, but still there are like I don't imagine that my grandmother can use Bitcoin currently, but it will be changed, I'm sure. About applications and altcoins. Altcoin means that it's alternative coin, means that it's another blockchain. It isn't the Bitcoin. It might be copy of the Bitcoin, but it's basically totally different totally different system, lives in own life, and some applications I wrote here, software platforms. Ethereum, Alex already mentioned Ethereum. It's basically, if the Bitcoin is optimized for moving money, then the Ethereum is much more universal. In Ethereum, the transaction can consist of program code, and the code can be the Ethereum platform supports different programming technologies. So developers around the world can easily write the code to the Ethereum with their own technology, and this is basically, in Ethereum sense, smart contract, the programmable code inside the transaction. So Ethereum is a smart contracting platform. Lisk is idea is the same as the Ethereum, but Lisk is much more limited. It's limited by technology, only supports JavaScript and the web applications, and in the core it works a little bit differently. Hyperledger is more similar than Ethereum, but it's the leadership is by the IBM community, and it's quite early stage currently. Social networks, Steam has been going through recently really successful last months. It's basically social network where the users can create content into the network, some kind of blog posts or just posts, and if the other users are reading or consuming the content, then the creators can earn money with that. And there are quite many creators already who had everyday payout from Steam system. Scenario is a little bit same, but more wider. There are more possibilities to create different applications top of it. Shared storage is a really great idea. Definitely a big part of the future. Idea is that you can put out to the network your free space from the hard drive, and others parties inside the system can use the space, and you can earn money with to sharing the storage. MindSafe coin actually isn't the blockchain thing. MindSafe coin is a little bit different technology, but the idea is saying that you can earn money with sharing your free space. And then of course Money Dash is a much more secure and not so public than the Bitcoin is. NEM is a little bit different. The logic behind Monero is a little bit different. Consensus, mathematical consensus mechanism called this same proof of work algorithm. And if you go to the coin market cap, then from there you will find over 600 different altcoins, over 4,000 different exchanges where you can trade with them. So it's really like another virtual world out there. And this picture is really great. I really like it. It gives like a trend and a small overview of what's happening in the world currently. So this is like old world, big corporations who own the information, who create the information, and who controls it. The basically main question to this picture is who owns the information and who controls it. Currently we are living here in a decentralized, more decentralized models, and we have here Facebook, Twitter should be here, Uber and others. And this is the part where users create information, but still the corporation owns it and controls it. but we are going to future quite soon already, where we have already like many applications in the different fields, and here will be a situation where the users will create information, controls and owns it as well. So here those applications are just codes put it in a decentralized way into the network, and the people just can use it. And the fuel, they are so-called decentralized autonomous organizations, and the fuel to that organizations are cryptocurrencies. We have seen some examples: cloud storage sharing, the social network, identities, governance, many different applications. Back to the currency world. What are the advantages if we are comparing with the fiat currency or the banking traditional banking currency? First, we don't need any more banks to move money. That's a really fast trend. Banking sector are searching depressedly new applications, how they can earn money still, and trying to figure out new business models. And that's basically because we don't need middlemen anymore to move money. Another thing is about the cryptocurrencies, that they are based on open standards. They are really transparent. They are open money, which means that we can see how money moves. In the banking system, the money movement is really closed because there are closed standards. We can see how and where the money moves, and we can build we can build different applications which functionality can be triggered by movement of money. Then, of course, I can send bitcoins without borders instantly, not a problem. Without single point of failure, that single point what is inside the centralized system is called single point of failure because it's risk for the whole system. All the attack vectors are pointed to this single point, and if the single point happens to be compromised somehow, then the whole system is broken basically. But in a decentralized model we don't have this part, so it's much more harder to corrupt somehow the system. Neutrality by the system is quite important. It means that in a centralized system, the central party can't be neutral towards to the other parties inside the system. We have somewhere in a castle big government who controls us, and that's it. But in a decentralized system, we have all the parties have same. They are all equal. They have same amount of information, and they are basically equal by this towards themselves. Then as well, really important is predictable issuing policy. Means the process how the new money comes into the system. We can't say that in traditional money systems, money issuing policy is transparent, but in terms of Bitcoin or some other currencies, the issuing policy has described inside the code mathematical way. In terms of Bitcoin, after every 10 minutes came out into the system, we came out currently 12.5 Bitcoins per 10 minutes. But it changes after every 4 years. It will be half less. So it began like 50 Bitcoin per 10 minutes, then it was 25. About 2 weeks ago, it changes to the 12.5, and it's possible to calculate that in a year 2140, it will be issued out last fraction of the Bitcoin, and then there will be altogether 21 millions of Bitcoins inside the network. The issuing policy is really important because we can plan much more easily economy things, economy like macroeconomical level, for example. Of course, it's immutable. If something is already in the blockchain, then it is there. It is there forever. It can't be changed anymore. Of course, fast and low cost, much more cheaper than the traditional money. So back to the main question. I can't say why you should buy Bitcoins, but you can make your own decisions. But I can say behalf myself why I will buy Bitcoins. First reason is that it's really awesome technology. It's like paradigm shift, and it disrupting the world. It changes much, and I really like it, and it fits into my philosophy. So I really like it, and I will support it as much as I can. Second reason is trust. I really trust open and transparent system much more than the closed one. Simple. I don't trust the euro or dollar system. I know a little bit how they are working, and compared with Bitcoin, it's totally different level of trust. Of course, I assume that other people trust as well transparency and open system more, so will be more demand to the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So it means investment opportunity. And then, of course, it's fast and comfortable to use. I am myself like everyday Bitcoin user, and it is really great to use it. You may ask now why Bitcoin, why not some other coins? What you should buy. Other coins and altcoins are as well great opportunities. But about the Bitcoin still, the Bitcoin is like dominating currency currently, and it will be many years. But in sometime in the future, I believe that there are some currencies are taking over the role of dominating cryptocurrency. It's because the features of the Bitcoin, but still, as the Bitcoin is really the first one, it started a big paradigm shift. It is the famous one. It's like currently entry point into the cryptocurrency world. And it has all the potential to become a new form of gold as an investment asset. So, as I just recently heard another news that some really great Russian scientists discovered a method how to synthesize gold molecules from the radioactive waste with the help of some specific bacteria. So quite soon we might need some kind of replacement for the gold as an investment asset. And that's it. Thank you.
Спасибо большое. У нас есть 5 минут на вопросы, если есть. Отлично.
Есть ли какой-нибудь простой, хороший, удобный способ, какая-нибудь простая, удобная альтернатива Proof of Work, чтобы не тратилось так много ресурсов, да, на вот эти все вычислительные операции?
Great question. Currently, the proof of work is most secure way how to avoid double spend. It means that same money can't be spent 2 times, and it's really more secure and more tested way how to do it. But there is outside in the tested environments other forms of proof ofs. And methodologies how to add new blocks into the system, but they are still in a tested phase. Yeah, it agreed that the proof of work is really not energy effective, but as well the work is going on with the proof of work algorithms, and I'm sure that in the future. This becomes more and more energy efficient as well.
Добрый вечер. Почему владельцы краудфандинговых платформ переходят на блокчейн?
Basically, they are using blockchain as a security provider. It's really much easier to build a crowdfunding platform on top of the Bitcoin, because you don't need to worry, you don't need to secure the system. If you just issue your own defined tokens to the Bitcoin, to the blockchain, and they are secured by the design, by the system itself. It's much easier to do it, basically.
Спасибо.
Еще вопрос? Спасибо большое. До новых встреч.
Thank you.
Reality. It is